All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new update. And this update is the box office results for this past weekend and where things sit through today, Tuesday, July 18th, around the world and total grosses. We're going to look at a few things here today. And I will tell you that Sound of Freedom is killing it, absolutely killing it at the box office. And it shows you that there is material that studios are not feeding to the public, that the public is yearning for. And with Sound of Freedom, they have been having all kinds of issues in theaters where the air conditioning is hot. The film will cut off partway through. They'll say they have to re-download the video, which is going to take a couple of hours, and people can wait or come to a later showing or get a ticket to a different movie. There are actual videos of this all over the internet, and the studios are trying to bury that film. And I encourage everybody who hasn't seen it, go see it. It is amazing. And I have a review for that up on my review. I do movie reviews, and I do have my review for that up on my movie review playlist. So I encourage everybody to go look for that video if they have not seen it yet. But there's a lot of controversy, associated with that particular movie, which is fascinating. But we're going to see how well that film is doing, and I've got some photos to show you, and then we're going to look at the actual results. And this is some pretty crazy stuff. So the first thing I wanted to show you here is it says The Flash is going to end its theatrical run making less than Green Lantern did at the domestic box office. Prior to release, Warner Brothers execs hadn't been this hopeful for a DC project since The Dark Knight. It failed miserably, and we're going to see actually where it falls on the list of movies that have been released this year. All right, well, I had actually deleted some of the photos I was going to show. So we're going to get right into the actual numbers for these films for this past weekend. And you can see here that Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 grossed $54.5 million over the weekend. But this movie actually started last week on Wednesday, and its total domestic gross up until today, or through the weekend, sorry, not today, but through the weekend, was $78.5 million, which is pretty respectable, although they expected this to do almost twice that, honestly. So it's not doing as well as they expected. I don't think the movie's actually going to possibly make its money back. It's going to be questionable. It depends on how the legs are going to be at the theater. And I want you to notice that this movie was playing in 4,327 theaters. Then you have The Sound of Freedom, which made $27 million over the weekend, which is a 38.5% increase over the previous week. And it was playing in 413 more theaters than it was in the previous week. They're realizing that people want to see this movie, and its total domestic gross up until, up through the weekend was $85.7 million. That is phenomenal. It almost never happens. It is a very rare occurrence where a movie is going to come up and make this kind of money after the first couple of, and this has been out since the 4th of July. And so this movie is gaining steam. You had Insidious, debuted with $13 million. Well, I don't think it debuted. I think it came out like the week prior, but it was a 60% decrease from the previous week. You had Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which made an additional $12 million over the weekend, which was a 55% decrease from the previous week. You can see that it also left 735 theaters. Its domestic gross was $145 million. Elemental, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the typical stuff. These movies have been out for a while, and you can go down the list here. But look at The Flash. The Flash is still out in theaters, not very many, only 778, but it only made $750 million over the weekend, and its total domestic gross is only $106 million. How pathetic is that? That's in its 5th week in release. It's amazing that The Little Mermaid is on here. It has made $300 million here in the U.S. alone. And it actually had a little more traction than it looked like it was going to have when it first came out. But let's look at some other photos here. So this is the numbers from yesterday, which is Monday. And this is also fascinating. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning made almost $5.5 million on Monday, which is pretty good for a Monday. But look at Sound of Freedom. It's right there with it. And it's in less theaters. It made almost $5 million on Monday. Then you have Insidious, you have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I almost went back and saw Indiana Jones earlier today, but I had some stuff I had to take care of. That's pretty good numbers for a Monday. It shows people want to go to the theater, and if you have the right movie, they will go. Now, this is the worldwide box office. So this here is showing you total gross, including domestic and worldwide, up until this was actually updated today. So this is through today, Tuesday. Now, it's not going to have Tuesday numbers on here, so we might as well say Monday. But you can see the number one grossing movie of the year so far was the Super Mario Brothers film, and I had fun with that film. Total take was $1.3 billion. I don't think anybody expected that. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 worldwide has made $843 million. You have Fast X, $704 million. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Little Mermaid, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Now, one thing I'm not seeing on this list, which surprises me, is Avatar. Why is Avatar not on here? I'd like to see what its worldwide gross is. That's pretty interesting that Avatar's not listed on here. It's kind of funny. At any rate, we're going to see where some of these things. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is still 10th on we're halfway through the year, and it is still listed 10th. It has made $305 million, which does cover the production costs, but it's got to make a lot more to actually profit. And I don't think it's going to have the legs to do that, unfortunately. It's going to start getting pulled out of theaters. The Flash is number 12 with its total run. This is worldwide, and this is pathetic, $267 million. I mean, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning over the weekend almost made enough worldwide to cover for the entire Flash gross, which is insane. And Mission Impossible is definitely going to grow up this list. I'm guessing Mission Impossible is going to end up number 3 on this list by the time we get done, but who knows? And then you can see the rest of the stuff. It gets pretty pitiful as you go down the list. Sound of Freedom, you can see, is down there as number 21. It's made almost $100 million, but the thing about Sound of Freedom is it only cost $15 million to make, but was shelved for 5 years. That film was made 5 years ago. Again, there's a lot of controversy associated with that movie. So those are the box office results through Monday, July 17th. I am going to cover these numbers on Mondays. I'm going to make sure that every Monday, it might even be Sunday if I can get the numbers, but I'm guessing it's going to be Mondays, where I do a video just talking about the weekend box office and where things stand going forward. And I'm also going to do my movie updates. I'm going to try to do those on Sundays, and I'm thinking about doing maybe my movie updates live, or maybe doing just getting on and talking about movie stuff to where people can log in for an hour or two on Sundays and maybe just chat with me. I'm thinking about doing that in the future as well. Let me know what you guys think about doing that on a Sunday. Now, because of where I'm at in the world, some people are going into Monday and might be late on Sunday, so I got to figure out a good time to do that. But that is something I would like to do in the future, where I can have the viewers on my channel have a little more interaction with me and be able to ask questions live. I think that would be a lot of fun. Now, one thing somebody mentioned in one of my comments, and I wanted to make people aware of this, and I'm not asking for donations. That's not what this is. But somebody had mentioned, why don't you do live shows to where people can donate money through the super chats and everything, which is great. But what you guys don't know, and something that YouTube added, and they've actually asked us to mention this to our audiences, is they've actually added the donation button to regular videos. You can actually donate during normal videos now, which is pretty cool. It doesn't just have to be live chats. But I think it is better for the viewers to be able to have that interaction with the content creators here on YouTube. But I have a lot of content coming up on my channel. I do appreciate all the support, and I look forward to updating the box office on a weekly basis and talking about movies more in general. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.